I see Amazon for what we're comparing today. Amazon is obviously at the top.
Costco's going to eventually lose a lot of business, and Ikea is definitely going to lose a lot of business.
Amazon will turn into a Costco because you could have the Whole Foods in the same place. So today we will be discussing three big players in, I guess, a similar industry, right? I mean,
In a way, yeah.
in a way. The biggest one is one of the biggest companies in the world, Amazon. And then Ikea and Wayfair. And we're going to go over similarities, differences. Obviously, everybody knows what those three are kind of known for, but what we likely think the trajectory of those three in the next 10 years is going to look like. Let's start it off with Amazon. I mean, Amazon has the most money.
And I think the reason why we're even talking about this is because over the weekend, me and Greta went to a new store that Wayfair released here in Chicago.
Their first flagship.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the
brick-and-mortar.
first one, but it's the first one here, I think, right? And from just being in that new store, I'm kind of seeing, at least predicting what's going to be happening in the next couple of years. So, okay, you were saying, what about Amazon?
Well, they're the biggest, right? And
By far.
But again, they're not exactly similar to the other two, right? IKEA is more home furniture, and yeah, you can build out a kitchen and stuff, but accessories and stuff like that. Whereas Amazon is like, you can buy anything, right? And now they own Whole Foods, so you could get your groceries. And then they have their streaming platform. They have their software side where you could host with them. So they got a lot. And then Wayfair, which is kind of a mix of both, right? You made a good point about Amazon and what you think Amazon is going to turn in the next 10 years.
Well, see, right now, from what I've seen with Wayfair, I think before we go on to that, I think with Wayfair, when you go in there in that store, originally what I thought when I first heard about the idea when we were going there, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense, because let them just have everything, right? Because they need a fulfillment center where they send everything out. So I was like, okay, everything is probably in this fulfillment center. I'm going to go in, I'm going to pick, and they're just going to ship it out. But it didn't seem like that was the case. It looked like an actual store where then you pick the item and they ship it from somewhere else. So at first I was like, this really makes sense, because now it's like, okay, you have everything all in one spot and it could just be shipped out directly right when you need it, right? So that kind of like already shocked me, that I was like, okay, why are they doing it that way?
So can you take from the store though?
You cannot take from the store. I don't think. You scan the label and then it gets shipped out. But maybe, although I didn't see it coming from that store, I assumed it's coming from somewhere else. Maybe it is still coming from this one store. Maybe in the back they have some kind of huge warehouse or something where everything is actually there, and then they'll ship it out after you scan it, right? Because IKEA, you have the stuff, right? You go downstairs or whatever.
You go find it in the aisle and pick up box 1 through 5 or how many, and load it up.
You have it, right? You load it up. So here, maybe you scan it and it still comes from this location, which, I mean, at that point, maybe it wouldn't matter too much where it's coming from, because it's still coming from somewhere. But to me, it made most sense to just have a huge warehouse where everything all is in one spot, right? So I think with Amazon having so much power and so many warehouses already like that around, big cities, you could literally just open that up to the public and make a little showcase, right? Here's the item. Instead of just looking on their website, you actually have them physically, right? Like a huge IKEA, huge Wayfair that they have now.
Costco.
Huge Costco, right?
Amazon will turn into a Costco because you could have the Whole Foods in the same place.
And that's what you brought up later, because they have Whole Foods. Now to me, that sounds like they would win the game, right? Because they could put the grocery store and they could just open up that fulfillment center with models of whatever they're selling, and just bam, a person comes in to buy furniture. Well, they could go to Whole Foods and buy groceries at the same time, or just probably they would open up like little restaurants or something like that along those lines, where they could have a lot of leverage, you know?
And some people might be thinking, well, what if you have, like how Amazon is, you have so many sellers selling the same product? How do you pick and choose who's in there? Well, you wouldn't. What they would probably do is what they've been working on the last several years, is Amazon Basics, their own line. Just like Costco has their Kirkland line. It would be the same concept. Amazon would be selling Amazon branded stuff, the essentials, batteries, whatever, all that, and have it linked with a Whole Foods inside, maybe a food court too, and then it's game on between Amazon and Costco.
And eventually, many, many years down the line, I think that's all it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know? But before that, I think even though there are still so many sellers, I don't think it really changes the game much, because the reason why the delivery is so quick is because they already have all this stuff in their fulfillment centers. They're there. Like, you know, I don't think it comes directly from somewhere else at all times. A lot of this stuff is already pre-delivered to their fulfillment centers, where now is just, you know, you order it, they just ship it right out, right? So I feel like, and those are the most popular things, and those are the things that they would want to be selling anyways, right? So if that's already showcased, it's already ordered, it's there. Now they just got to have someone see it and buy it, right? But eventually down the line, like you were saying, that's not going to matter, because I think their end goal is how to make the most amount of money. Any company at that scale wants to be the biggest and make the most money. So at the end of the day, they're not going to care about sellers and what other products they are. The only reason they're good is so they could show them what is selling, what is popular, and then they just copy it and make it, right?
Exactly. And Amazon's there have been stories of Amazon doing that, copying big, new up-and-coming players, whether it's shoes or clothes or accessories, and then they go and copy the design and undercut the price by 50%.
But honestly, like, they get the bad rep for doing that, but there is a lot of...
Everybody does it.
Everybody does it.
Everybody does it.
Like, I just noticed that, you know, Costco, their Kirkland brand, we went to buy the Perrier waters, you know, and I see that Kirkland has their own...
You're not a Pellegrino guy? You're a Perrier guy?
I mean, I like them both, but I like Perrier more. But anyways, like, the Kirkland brand tastes the same. Like, I'm pretty sure it might even come from the same place, you know?
And when you told me about that, like, last week, I'm like, well, there goes my Pellegrino or Perrier, because whatever.
Yeah, because it was like $5 cheaper, you know?
At that $10. Greta's saying $10.
$10, that's crazy.
$10 cheaper, I'm going Kirkland. And because you brought that up, there's other products that are manufactured in the same places as other big brands. Duracell batteries and Kirkland batteries. Same. Literally the same.
But Kirkland's probably way cheaper, right?
Hella cheaper.
Yeah.
And they said it was Grey Goose, but I think it's Tito's.
One of the vodkas?
One of the vodkas is made at the same place that one of the big ones is. And also, because been getting into golf, the golf clubs I've tried looking for these in store, and their wedges or their putter, they're immediately sold out because they're the same. I think it's either Titleist or TaylorMade. They're made by the same company or same plant, right? And that's the thing. People are going to be like, some might be like, well, it's not the exact same technology, right? But for the most part, the people who are just thinking, well, it's made in the same plant or the same manufacturer makes it, it's got to be the same. And that's who you win over. If they think that it's just because it's made at the same place, like the the Kirkland clubs are made where TaylorMade or Titleist are made, they're immediately going to think they're the same exact club. Not necessarily, right? Because different technology they have patents on and stuff like that. But the mass, when you get it talking like us, we're talking about all the other big brands that are made at the same places. Once it's stuck in the head, it doesn't matter. You're going for the cheaper option because you could compare and be like, well, why am I paying $30 for this pack of batteries that are Duracell when I could pay $19.99 for the Kirkland brand ones when they're the same?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be the exact same thing, but it has to give you the exact same value at the end of the day, I think, or the price won't matter, because I've tried different waters. I mean, Greta did too, my wife, right? And they're not all the same, you know? Like, there are some that are cheaper, but the like crispiness level of like Perrier is much better than a lot of the other ones. Maybe even Pellegrino, from what I remember, it's like stronger crispiness
initially, and sometimes they fade faster too. Like
sometimes
I've noticed,
right?
like you keep it open 2 hours, like two different ones, Pellegrino or Perrier. One's gonna stay, like you're saying, crispier longer, or that more refreshing taste.
So with the Kirkland one, I didn't see a difference. It's the same, like when you drink it, it's the same thing. So if it was like less crispy, I probably wouldn't buy it, even though it was $10 cheaper, because I just, certain things you enjoy, right? Yeah. But if it's literally the same thing, then I don't see how that you're not going to choose the cheaper option. The bottle's nice looking as well. It's not like it's an ugly bottle or something. So now there's no difference, you know?
And my big thing too is like, obviously value is a major point. This is going to go into touching another topic of waste, right? With the batteries. If you go into Walgreens and you buy a 4-pack of batteries for $10, that's a lot, right? But you go to Costco and you pay $20, whatever, and you get a whole like 36-pack of batteries. Not necessarily one for one will last the same, right? But it's 75% as long, right? 25% less than the more expensive battery. But now people go into, well, now you're buying more to save money, but now you're creating more waste. Right. So what do you balance now with environmental morals and like the environment versus
the
convenience and savings?
I mean, I'm always going to say that environment comes second for 99% of the people. And we've talked about this in a different episode. It's not just that people don't care about the environment. It's just people always care about how to better their end first, right?
Especially now in our economy, how it is.
Especially now.
The dollar is not going far at all.
Exactly. Nobody's going to be focusing on environment if they need to struggle more, you know, because they can get something for cheaper. And some things are a lot less, right? Like you could argue that, you know, buying an electric car might be way better for the environment, but there are so many cheaper options. So now that person that's, you know, got a budget of $10K that, you know, they cannot get an electric vehicle for $10K is never going to like make themselves suffer just so they could go ahead and get an electric vehicle and help the environment, you know? So I think environment in almost every case is going to come second.
We care, obviously.
Everybody cares, I think.
Some might not and think it's a hoax. This is going to be a topic for a completely different time. But the big corporations try and push climate on us and our daily lives, how we are the problem, when you've been seeing more and more every single year, companies are making pledges to be carbon neutral. So that is something we could talk about at a different time. But going back towards the big differences between Amazon, Wayfair, Ikea, going to Ikea now, Ikea is an experience, right? Here in Chicago, we have those two locations, one in Schaumburg, and I forget where the other one is. But one thing I don't do, just like I don't go to Costco from Friday 3 p.m. till Monday open, I don't dare step foot in an Ikea on a weekend or after like 3 p.m. on a weekday.
It's too
because
busy.
it's too packed.
Right.
We have people coming from Wisconsin. You have people coming from Indiana. Some maybe I've even seen from Michigan and Minnesota. It's an experience, right? People come from far away, hours away to get all this shopping done. And Costco or Amazon, I don't know necessarily would have that same effect, you know? Same with Wayfair. Ikea has this special, I don't want to call it niche of people, but it's just that special experience where, you know, your first set of furniture when you go to college is always Ikea, right? Or now it's Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, see, so it's already changing. Right now you can say it's Amazon. It could be Wayfair now that they're opening those things up. So I don't think that's going to be the problem. The only other experience that IKEA may offer that I see that the other ones won't, unless Amazon introduces it, because I think Wayfair, everything comes already pre-built. I'm not sure.
No.
No? Oh, well then.
Because we had to put the TV stand together, remember, when we ordered it for here?
Those from Costco.
No, the TV stand, the holder, not the TV,
okay.
not the console.
Okay. So, I mean, some things may be already kind of done and some
The
things...
bigger furniture that would take longer. That's the downside of IKEA, right? That's why their prices are better because you have to
put
build
everything
it
together.
But it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like after this, I think IKEA is going to lose a lot of revenue, especially if Wayfair starts opening up more locations.
This is going towards Wayfair side.
Yes.
If Wayfair opens more of these stores that'll direct ship.
Yes, and if Amazon comes into play, then I think it's going to hurt both of them big time, you know? Definitely IKEA at that point.
I could see Amazon doing two different styles. One doing a Costco style, right? Where it's like
everything.
The home essentials. Food and water, you know, toilet paper, batteries, clothes, those kinds of things, right? In bulk.
And so now you're talking, I think it's more Costco style that Amazon would open up.
With the Whole Foods built in, right?
Because they can.
Because they can. And then the other side of it would be the Wayfair side, what Amazon would do. The bigger things, like your sheds for your backyard. Maybe the power tools can be in both of them, right? The Costco style or the other one.
So maybe IKEA shouldn't be the one worried. Maybe Costco should be the one worried, because I think Amazon has the power to open up warehouses like that.
And Amazon has been buying up land and properties left and right over the years, where they have recently slowed down, it seems like, because they have enough. So maybe, just maybe, in the near future, we are going to see that more style of you go in, you pick what you want, and they'll just send it right out. Because they have the Prime trucks, so it's going to be free delivery at that point. They already have the trucks.
Then I changed my prediction. I think I was thinking too small, them just copying Wayfair and IKEA. I think their plan is to just build huge warehouses where it's like Costco, Wayfair, all of it in one, because they already have all those products.
You can have a giant warehouse, right? And I'm talking massive, like
massive,
hundreds of thousands of square feet, right? The first 25% of it would be retail style, where the consumer walks in and picks out their stuff. Meanwhile, the back 75% of it is going to be that fulfillment, where they hold everything, they get it on the truck. Shit, maybe they'll be good enough by the time you get home and the delivery truck's already pulling up to your house with you, ready to put it in.
I mean, it could be. It could be. I think, see, I've never thought of it that way, which is kind of crazy, because Amazon's been always my favorite company. Like, for a long time, I think that if I had to put all my money into one stock, it would be Amazon. The things that they've built, it's almost impossible to take them down, you know, because it's not like they're just Google in a way, where it's the search engine where tomorrow that could change super quickly. They got literally, Whole Foods.
They've got their hand in everything.
In everything.
Streaming, hosting, like software side, right?
And that's with their Prime membership. That's where I think that's going to be the new Costco membership, that everybody that already has one, which is so many millions of users, you just present your membership, you go into this warehouse, and there you go. You don't have to buy a second membership, and they give so much more value that Costco ever will be able to match, because you got Amazon Prime with the shipping. You got the videos, right, which I watch a lot of stuff through Prime.
That's another thing. They obviously have other shows and movies. That was primary, right? But the last couple of years, now they're making their own stuff, like Netflix. Prime is making their own movies and TV shows.
Exactly. So how are you going to compete with that? They got too much power right now. They position themselves in a way that I don't think anyone, unless I don't see it, I don't think anybody could take them down. But they have the potential to take down
a lot of other places.
Right? Another one that I've seen them kind of go into is little convenience stores, where they're going to be competing with
7-Eleven, Circle K's. They've already been doing it. Yep. Amazon Go.
And I think the way they're doing it is with a new technology, which you kind of go in there and you just walk out,
right,
and it's paid for.
It's been there. Yeah.
Right?
You have to walk in, scan your Amazon Prime app with your card that's already preloaded. You grab a basket or a cart, and there's a sensor line in the top.
Scans everything.
And every time you put something in, it scans the price, and it tells you if you take it out, it withdraws it.
So, yeah, I mean, that's my prediction now from like just this discussion. I think they are going to open up these warehouses, and I think it's going to be game over at that point. Costco's going to eventually lose a lot of business, and Ikea is definitely going to lose a lot of business. You just won't be able to compete with that because the prices are going to be so much lower. The products are going to be super good because they know, like, Amazon's not stupid. They know they have to give you value, right? So it's
out of the three, I see Amazon, for what we're comparing today, Amazon is obviously at the top. I put Ikea second. I think Wayfair still is not even close to breaking through to a level where they're untouchable. I believe IKEA is through. I believe IKEA is there where they won't go down because they are worldwide. Amazon is still not. Obviously, Amazon's worldwide, but there are still other big websites in different countries. Like I know India has a big one, and China has, obviously, we could get it, the political side.
But I don't think
IKEA's
even in those countries anyways. So,
but IKEA is in Europe and in other.
But Amazon's huge in Europe.
Right, but I'm saying IKEA versus Wayfair. IKEA's at a point where they're not going to go down.
No, I don't think they're going to go
Wayfair down. Is still not at that point where they're like, okay, we don't need to worry. Wayfair is battling Amazon. Wayfair is battling IKEA. Wayfair is battling mom and pop furniture stores.
Oh,
when
sure.
I worked at Value City, people would still come in and say, I bought stuff off Wayfair and it was crap.
I mean, yeah.
So I believe Wayfair is nowhere near the point of being like, they don't have to worry. They still have to keep innovating, and maybe this store might not even pan out in the next couple of years because it's nice in concept to be like, all right, I want to go into the store and see it, but I also want to be able to take it home, right? Like if I can't buy it at the store and bring it home right away, what the hell's the point of me leaving the house?
Well, that's why I thought originally when I was going there, it's a great idea because I'm like, okay, yeah, you can grab it right there, it's already there, and bam, you ordered, you take it with. But then when I saw you have to scan it, and then it shows you, it actually tells you right there on the sticker, like estimated delivery, which was like 5 to 7 days, which isn't horrible. But yeah, I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of like, what's the point of this store, just so you could kind of see it a little bit more. I mean, I kind of could do just fine looking at it online, and order it at that point and then return it if it's not good. So that kind of changed my perspective a little bit. But that's why I think Amazon would have the upper hand, because they could have everything just like IKEA has, you know?
I'm very curious to see what Amazon does here, because either way they go about that, you know, whether it's the Costco with the Whole Foods in one, or they do shit. Maybe they'll even do like a plaza style, right? Where one's gonna be the IKEA style, and then you go over here and it's all in the same area, and that's like fulfillment straight to your house of the bigger things.
I think maybe instead of Whole Foods, it would be like the Amazon Fresh stores that they have going on. Because I think at the end of the day, to compete with Costco, you have to go on bulk and price, and Whole Foods is completely different. You know, I think their prices are too expensive for them to be able to compete. That I think they would have to kind of introduce a whole new business model, a whole new different store.
I think when they have the standalone Whole Foods,
It works fine.
it works. Obviously, it works fine because it worked so long and they got bought. But if you put them into a location like that, where you're holding so much because you could get so many more people in through the door, I think they're able to lower the prices.
I think so, but the question is, will they, and why would they, if people are already paying what they're paying in Whole Foods, right? So it's like that's what I'm trying to
Because
get.
you could get more money through other things by getting
Then
them
it would
through
make
the door.
sense.
Just like how Costco, they put the $5 chicken at the back of the store and
Just
the
so-
$2,000 TVs at the front. You got to pass all the expensive stuff first. Like it goes electronics, jewelry, and then it slowly starts getting cheaper all the way towards the back. Chickens are always going to be in the back. He said it for a reason.
Yeah.
Like you have to pass the expensive stuff. It makes you spend more.
Yeah, so it makes sense. I mean, if that's the case, then I could see it happening. But in any case, I do think Amazon's going to take over everything unless regulations prevent
That's exactly what I was about to say next. I think they're already, I don't want to say they're past the point of being regulated, but regulation could impose on them from growing any bigger or going further. But there hasn't been any talks about that, for them at least.
Yeah, I don't know.
And what they do smart is they go into other industries. They've gotten so big in one.
AWS, which is insane how much revenue they like get in from that. That's only going to keep getting bigger.
The subscription to, I'm pretty sure they lose money on the Prime subscriptions, and they have been for a long time, which
That's
they
the
don't
beauty
care.
of having everything. You can, because you
could
make
lose money
elsewhere.
you lose money one place just to make it up everywhere else.
Yeah, that's why I think they're my favorite business for a long time, because they know what they're doing and they are positioned to literally take over everything.
For sure. Let us know in the comments what you guys think is going to happen with Amazon, Wayfair, and IKEA, and which out of the three you like the most.